Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. You know, you guys are all part of me. We are all part of one unit, one mind of the entire world in our existence. And we're here to share and impart wisdom on each other. So as I go along in this meeting, if you have anything to share, please, by all means, you know, let's share as much as we can with each other while we're here tonight. Now, tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and start and get into this PowerPoint presentation that I've prepared for you. It is a lot of information that I tried to compile and compact into one thing, because really it covers many, many different subjects. But to try to whittle it down to where it would fit into a one-night class was challenging, because we have to comprehend where we've been in order to know what tools we can use to defend ourselves against these dark arts and dark principalities out here in the world that are trying to take over. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so welcome to the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. This is going to be a foundation of your awakening. It's going to help you to gain eyes or glasses to see what has been hidden for so long. And once you gain this awareness, it's going to help you to recognize darkness and this black magic that's out in the world, but to also know how to defend yourself against it and what you can do about it. So we're going to begin with a clip from Harry Potter, because they always reveal the truth in all of these movies. Now, for those of you who are joining tonight, some of you don't know me personally, but I worked on such movies as Walking Dead, Vampire Diaries, Stranger Things, all these major productions that are being filmed here in Georgia. And I was aware at the time that I was working for a very satanic energy and industry. And so I was there obviously to observe, because nothing in this world happens by chance. But I was able to gain perspectives that most people can't see. And so after really learning from what Jordan Maxwell had to teach about such things as symbols and signs and where words come from, I have now been able to move forward and to recognize things for what they are. So with this Harry Potter clip, they are actually telling us a way to thwart the darkness without actually giving us much more information. So we're just going to watch this. I'm going to pause right there, because I want to impart symbolism for you guys as we're watching this. And that way you can kind of comprehend this even more. So Saturn energy represents death. It is the death. It is the sphere of death that we all go through. It is also an energy that influences our lives. And this entity represents death. This thing is called a Dementor, and it is a dark spirit that represents death. So as it goes by, it kills these flowers. It is the dark hand of death.
Intriguing, isn't it? To the gas as to what is inside.
That's bubble.
Very good, Mr. Tom. Now, can anybody tell me what a boggart looks like?
No one knows.
When she get here?
Boggarts are shapeshifters. They take the shape of whatever a particular person fears the most.
This is the key right here. A boggart, or dark spirit, will take the appearance of anything that you fear the most. Remember this, because we're going to see this later.
That's what makes him so
terrifying. Yes. Luckily, a very simple charm exists to repel a boggart. Let's practice it now. Without wands, please. After me. Ridiculous. Very good. A little louder. Very clear. Listen. Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Class is ridiculous. Very good. Well, so much for the easy part. You see, the incantation alone is not enough. What really finishes a boggart is laughter. You need to force it to assume a shape you find truly amusing. Let me explain. Neville, would you join me, please?
So what he just mentioned is that laughter will dispel this darkness. This is a hint that your power lies within you to raise your frequency to the level of joy that can then dispel any darkness. Let's just continue.
Come on, don't be shy. Come on. Come on. Hello. Neville, what frightens you most of all? Sorry?
Professor Snape.
Frightens all. And I believe you live with your grandmother.
Yes, but I don't want that boggart to turn into her either.
No. It won't. I want you to picture her clothes, only her clothes, very clearly in your mind.
She carries a red handbag.
You don't need to hear. As long as you see it, we'll see it. Now, when I open that wardrobe, here's what I want you to do. Excuse me. Can you do that? Yes. Wand at the ready. 1, 2, 3. Think, Neville, think.
Ridiculous!
Wonderful, Neville, wonderful, incredible. Okay, to the back, Neville. Everyone form a line. Form a line. Everyone to picture the thing they fear the very most and turn it into something funny. Yes. Go on. Concentrate. Patiently. Be brave. Wand at the ready, Ron. Wand at the ready.
Ridiculous.
Show us what it's.
Okay, so what he basically did was jump out and stop Saturn's influence from basically taking Harry's life, is what the symbolism is here. But I also wanted to point out the one thing that you don't see much of is the pentagram that's on the floor. They're actually supposed to be standing inside the pentagram of protection. And we'll get into that in just a little bit about what the pentagrams actually are used for. So now we're going to look at the literal meaning of Harry Potter, because this is another aspect of what they actually put in our face that we're not aware of. Harry is to disturb, distress, or exhaust by repeated demands or criticism, to harass, to attack or raid as in a war, to force along as by attacks or blows. Potter, to move around without hurrying and in a relaxed way. I spent the afternoon pottering around the garden doing a few odd jobs. So Harry Potter literally means to force along without hurrying, or to disturb, distress, or exhaust by repeated demands without hurrying. Does it sound familiar to you? Who here is aware that dark or black magic runs the world? Are any of you aware of this? Have you guys seen it with your own eyes? Are you familiar? Go ahead. You can go ahead and speak.
Well, I know the World Economic Forum is full of it, trying to control all of us.
That's one aspect.
And Bill Gates.
Did someone else want to add to that? Is anybody else aware?
Mental
Is anybody
health,
else aware?
the doctors and the mental health. Well, I've been in prison for no reason, based on their whim, basically, and they have no evidence against me, and it's basically wrong, and they took away my free will, drugged me against my will right before the vaccine stuff. So there's a big story there if anybody's interested for later. But
Yeah, we can definitely get into that once we're done. You know, everybody can share personal stories if they wish. But yeah, so black magic is at the forefront of our entire society. What is black magic? It's magic practiced for evil purposes, or in league with supposed evil spirits, but magic is also derived from evil forces as distinct from good or benign forces, or magic performed with the intention of doing harm. The belief in magical spells that harness occult forces or evil spirits to produce unnatural effects in the world. Basically, it goes against anything that is of life and love. Black magic is also known as dark magic, and it has traditionally been referred to as the use of supernatural powers or magic for evil and selfish purposes, or magic associated with the devil or other evil spirits. It is also sometimes referred to as the left-hand path. Let's look at some of the influence of this black magic. Pharmaceuticals with harm in the middle. The term is from the Greek word pharmakia, which means drugs and sorcery. Medications assault the liver, and doctors will then prescribe more drugs to cover the new symptoms. They don't not only assault the liver, but they destroy the immune system. They give the illusion that something is working because they are using black magic on your mind and convincing you that these things are actually beneficial for your body. Pharmakia. A lot of the religious groups are now getting onto it. They're catching on to this whole idea and concept of pharmakia. So when you type in the word pharmakia on any Google search, this stuff starts popping up about biblical sites and what they know. So the scriptures warn us about pharmaceuticals. When we follow God's laws, we have no need for pharmacy, which is the ultimate truth, that we have perfect health and can maintain that health as long as we are given the substances to maintain that health, which are living foods from the earth. So as you can see, the actual definition in Greek terms is that this is drugs and sorcery or witchcraft. Sorcery is a term that is used for dark magic. It's a term that the occult realm uses mostly. Out here in the world, we don't know the differences between witchcraft, sorcery, magic, and principalities therein. But as you can see, one thing leads to another with these people who have taken over the entire world with their corpse orations. The oil industry came about, and then they started creating these pharmaceuticals that people would ingest through oil refined means. They use petroleum distillates as a binder and procurement for making these pharmaceuticals. Drugs are made with petroleum distillates and do not heal the body, which is why people always need more drugs to cover more problems. Vitamin supplements are also made from these pharmaceutical companies. Another black magic feature is schools, the school system. School systems are teaching information based on what the Rockefeller Foundation decides they should teach. You can go and find some of this information, and in my Word document, I have actually accumulated some different links that you can click on and go and do some research about this, about how this Rockefeller Foundation actually came about and began dictating what was taught in schools. They employ indoctrination of repeat after me and follow the rules types of mentality. instead of finding the creative spark inside each child and igniting the flame within them to discover what their innate gifts are. The thing is, the dark ones know everything about us based on our birth dates, because they know our birth charts through the birth dates and birth certificate information, which tells them our entire life story in a nutshell. And if you don't know anything about astrology, this is what I'm referring to. Astrology is the foundational force and truth about each one of us that we are not aware of. This is what keeps us from knowing ourselves fully, to comprehend what cell salts we need most, to comprehend, what energies are affecting our lives at any given moment. The astrology and the astrotheology of all of it is the foundational truths of this world that were removed through the use of the church or Kirk to create this indoctrination that we now call black magic. They can read our charts and know if we have special gifts based on the alignments of the stars and planets in our charts. Our birth charts are literally an open book of our lives and characteristics that they never wanted us to know. How interesting. I actually found this out, later in life after being able to be a part of the gifted program in elementary school, and how that was a system for weeding through all of the potentials for their black magic practice, to find the brightest lights that were in the bunch, the barrel, of apples, so to speak, that they would pluck from, to pull them in by offering them scholarships and amazing opportunities in the world for making money and making progress in their lives, but then subverting them to their will. I did not follow that path, and here I am today. Again, the Inquisition that destroyed people for their knowledge of how the world truly worked, rewrote the true history and buried the information through fear tactics, so we would not know ourselves fully during this time. Very important for them to do this, because they knew that this great awakening would come, that this moment in time would come, because in astrotheology, you can know exactly what's going to happen in the future. But we don't know that, and we don't have that information, but now we're gaining it. People fear the unknown, but the unknown is just undiscovered knowledge. This is the truth, and we need to just not fear any kind of knowledge, no matter how dark, no matter how dismal. It's all just knowledge to learn and grow from. Hollywood, this is another aspect of black magic. The name is in reference to the wood of a holly tree, a magic wand to captivate the mind and keep it mesmerized. TV is telling lies to your vision. That's why it's called tell lie vision. People love horror films because they shock the mind in order for the soul to feel a rush of energy. It's the magic of Hollywood. This is actually taken from one of the websites that talks about the magic of Hollywood, and I do have that link in my Word document. Hollywood then increases the shock value of horror, and at the same time desensitizes the mind to the evil content. This also allows an influence of manifesting or creating the evil through the use of subconscious mind, coupled with the emotional discharge of energy. Most people don't know themselves fully enough to know that they are emitting an energetic field based on where their thoughts and emotions are. And when you emit this field of energy, it's like turning a radio dial. You can tune into higher frequencies and send out better energy with your mind up in the utmost fields of the chakras. When you're operating at the heart chakra and up, that would be the heart, the throat, and the crown, and third eye, actually. When you operate on these levels, and only in these levels, you're operating at the highest frequencies and combining those forces outwards in the world to create a reality that then presents itself to you. But if you are stuck in the lower chakras, which would be the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, then going to be limiting yourself to how high you can go through the 7 rays or chakra system spectrum of spirituality. And we're going to see in just a moment what that means. They use people's imagination to create the reality they want because they know our thoughts and imaginations create our reality. We are all creators, each and every one of us. There's not one person here that's not a creator and can make dreams come true through our imagination. If the world population were to unite in purpose, we could change the world overnight. This is their biggest fear. Uniting us against them, if we were to unite, we would amass millions of minds, and they are only a few. They are the 1%. But our minds together are powerful. This is why they create chaos magic out in the world. Why can't people's soul feel? Why are people having a problem feeling? It's because most people's soul have become numb through societal influences and dulling of the mind through indoctrination practices. The droning of work, going to work, getting up, doing the same thing day after day after day as an effort for survival has kept us from actually ascending in our consciousness and our awareness of all of the hidden things in the world while they work their dark magic against us. And they have been working at this for thousands of years. The daily doldrums of a life as a slave to a system of control in a prison they cannot see has numbed the soul from its divine purpose. Keeping people in survival mode prevents them from seeking anything outside of basic necessities, such as paying bills and supplying food, thus perpetuating the system of control. Ordo ab chao is their modus operandi, and ordo ab chao means order out of chaos. Notice the amount of violence, crimes, anger, disconnection, disassociation, etc. we experience currently in the world. This chaos is by design, so we won't know ourselves fully by keeping our minds busy with a plethora of distractions to keep us unaware and unfocused on our innate nature and who is really pulling the strings in the world. Our divine purpose is waiting for each one of us. We just have to discover ourselves again. The more chaos, the less likely we are to find our true purpose, and even less likely to find the perpetrators who started it all. Once we can identify the perps, we can unite in one cause to eliminate the problem. All of their work, especially in the last 50 years, has been to stop our Great Awakening so they can continue to rule the world. This bombardment of toxic frequencies has been a full-out assault on our consciousness and our ascension of our awareness that is happening all throughout the cosmology of our world. This includes absolutely everything that is physically around us at any given moment, besides going out into nature, into the purity of nature, and just being in that field of energy, of divine countenance. You know, everything else outside of that is toxic to us currently. That includes the use of all vaccines. None of them work. It's all black magic, bypassing any innate immune functions and destroying the digestive biology, as well as any other aspects of the body. All pharmaceuticals, chemtrails, poison air, poison food, water, environments, homes, etc., clothes, colors, imagery, logos, sigils, which all employ radionics, etc. The list is literally everything in our society and how we operate with corpse orations at the helm. The septic energy has been summoned through the energy of Saturn, which is the gate of death, which is why they are considered a death cult. Skull and Bones, the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Magicians, every bit of it is in a nod to Saturn. It's why they sacrifice people and eat death, and why they also taught us to eat death through eating the flesh of rotting beings, making us Death Eaters of Harry Potter with the smoke of a grill that wafts up to honor BAAL. The Saturnian cube symbolism is everywhere as well, and through radionics, it imposes its energy on us. The 2D shape of a rectangle or square has a 3D holographic field of energy that enters into the tetragrammaton matrix and reacts with the etheric energy of its design. This is the cube of Saturn. It is septic in its nature because it is synonymous with death. It is Chronos, it is time, it is the Grim Reaper. It is an energy. It is not just Satan. Satan is Saturn, if you guys didn't know. But because the church, didn't want people to truly know where the term came from, They labeled it as something else, giving it a different term. And it is an energy that is septic, but it is an aspect of all of us because it's usually in our birth chart somehow, somewhere. And it also welcomes us once we get to the edge of our life and embrace death, because Saturn is the ruler of death and the gate of death. And it is literally everywhere in our world, absolutely everywhere. Even the homes that we live in have the shape of a cube. These are all Saturnian images. Even Trump Tower has a cube at the top. This is Mecca with the Kaaba. And when they are circling during their worship of the Kaaba in Mecca, they are actually bringing in that Saturnian energy. Do they know this? Possibly not. Some may not. We also invite Saturn energy into our homes willingly through the technologies that they employ on us to sell us as beneficial to our lives and as necessary too, to be able to function. Saturn's energy is cold, hard, and dark. It's anything black, stinky, and dirty. The black color is a symbol for death, and Saturn's nature is to challenge, and he rules over all things on Earth, as well as the other planets. He is Lord of the Rings. As we see here, on the left is Dante's model, which includes hell. Hell is at the bottom. Saturn is right here, just below the firmament of stars that you may or may not have heard about in different information that's found online. These ancient philosophers of old actually knew the construct of our world and how things actually interacted and worked, because they were not at that time corrupted by the evils that we have experienced in the last few ages. But Saturn is always going to be an aspect of our world because it is the outermost sphere of energy or influence. These different energies are going to be found in your birth chart. Each and every chart of every person has the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn in their construct. And once you get into astrology and you start learning these aspects of yourself and what it means, you will know yourself absolutely as you delve deeper into these mysteries. These were always part of the mystery schools that were taught back during the days of Egypt, in the glory that was before the fall of Egypt. So on the right, we have another chart, and this is, I believe, Plato's chart. It's either Plato or Pythagoras, one of these other people, is a philosopher. And again, basically stating the same thing, that we, as from the spirit realm would be outside of this sphere of influence. From the spirit realm, our spirit comes down to incarnate into the realm of earth, to become a physical being, what we consider to be physical anyway, because everything is an illusion, a hologram, as science has been pointing out. But we have these experiences to grow our soul. And through these different spheres of influence determines the lessons that we gain while we incarnate into a physical body. But we come in through Saturn's gate, we exit, and we actually ascend into the moon. Our spirit goes into the moon, but our soul actually gets sent back down through the sun. This is all in some of these concepts of the ancients. The sun is the light of the morning. It is the light of life. That's why they sound the same, life and light. There is a lot of information here, and I'm not going to get into this, but this, if you delve into Plato, Ptolemy, Pythagoras, all of the ancients and what they had to say about the cosmology of our world, you will then start to gain some wisdom of insight as in regards to the principalities that have been hidden from us and why they use all of these different symbols, because they didn't ever really truly use words or terms, because that is spelling. Casting spells is casting different frequencies with your voice or with tones. The tetragrammaton is also a huge aspect that we need to comprehend in this world. This is how what we call or consider magic works. The tetragrammaton is the word of God or Yahweh. It is the divine matrix of energy that of the ether that is affected by absolutely everything. Every sacred geometry is included in its form, and its basic construct is formed of opposing pyramids like the Star of David. This figure has every sacred geometry, holds everything as the foundation of our world. It is crystalline in its nature, but it reacts and it is affected by each and every person's thoughts. That is called magic. That is what makes things actually work out here in the world. And when people are meditating, they are truly connecting with this field, this divine field of energy. It is a fabric that touches absolutely everything, and it reacts to those thoughts, and it takes them in. And then it can either manifest a beneficial reality for you, or it can manifest and inhibit things in your life. You know, but what they say, bad luck and good luck, this is what that is. And it's all based on the tuning of your body or your frequency, like a radio dial, to tune in and either raise or lower the vibration of those frequencies. Okay, so this is, it's not the Star of David. That symbol is not the Star of David. It is the 4 elements of alchemy, and it's also the foundation of absolutely everything in existence. It is considered the God energy. Modern alchemy determines that this hexagram shape is not the Star of David. Many people will see this in alchemy and they'll think that this is a Star of David because of the Jewish people who have held this knowledge sacred. And once again, the hexagram is used to represent all 4 of the basic elements: water, fire, earth, and air. The hexagram is best used in arrays that deal with a wide range of transmutable material. An example would be Kimley's arrays, or even in magical practice. What you see as a pentagram, you know, is just an aspect of alchemy. So this is what we're going to learn about what this means, so that people can stop fearing some of these things out here in the world that they've never seen before. So here we have water, fire, earth, air. Note these symbols, because you will start to see them as we traverse forward into the future. Even in symbols and logos used for different corporations and things, you can start to see, once you have the eyes and wisdom to see and recognize these. The dark magi have not only lied about everything, but they have tricked us into taking on jobs that attack each other and assault nature and our connection to it. We are very much connected to nature through spirit, but we have never known that connection due to our ignorance through their indoctrinations, through the school systems, through everything that they've created around us. We've been born into a world of lies. Earth is very much a part of us, and our return to spirit incorporates our return to nature, the innate nature of our true divine spirit, and I needed to space this, the external nature of the world. There can be no other way. I'll just have to go back and correct that later. The Saturnian energy employed by the Dark Ones and their corpse orations destroys the natural world. It paves the way for new construction, more shopping opportunities, and build back better with more high rises and roads. We have been tricked into being part of this problem through our participation of such activities by being employed with and through monetary support of the corpse orations that follow through with their evil plans to destroy our natural world. The tricks they play are to get us to consent to all of their criminal activities through our free will. They know that only through our consent to giving up our will to their whims can they maintain and control us. When we realize this is done through consent to contract with them by signing contracts or agreeing to certain terms and conditions or acquiescing to their requests, then we can take our power back by non-compliance and not consenting to contract with them. They have been using the ritual sacrifices of humans to summon dark energies, entities, and demons for thousands of years. This potentially began in the age of Taurus when they created the cult of BAAL. These are some of the idols that we even know about today that represent their age. During the age of Taurus is when they started this concept of doing human sacrifices and sacrificing animals to Baal. It was actually an abomination because they were cursing the sun god. They were cursing God of the sun because God of the sun means and equals the light. It is the light that we all strive for if we choose this higher path of knowledge and wisdom. And to attain that wisdom, that means that we are striving for more illumination, which means we're striving for more light. But as you can see, they have been delving in darkness, and they just want to perpetuate that darkness by reminding themselves of where their foundations are from. Baal the bull was originally created as a representation of the age of Taurus, but the kings of the world became proud of their accumulated knowledge and desired more power, thus creating a blasphemous act of sacrificing animals and humans to denounce the god of light, the sun, in order to acquire dark powers from the depths beneath us. And that's not only just a metaphor or figuratively, this is actually physically. There are places beneath the ground that we are not aware of, because as above, so below, so as within, so without. And you'll hear these in the aspects of the occult realm, and these are absolute truths to be known. The sphere in this image represents the area of the most influence that this black magic has on the body, keeping the mind from ascending into higher states of awareness, which are represented by the higher 3 chakras. Actually, it's higher 4, because there's the crown chakra. So there's heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, and crown. The crown is the illumination. And as long as you are always seeking higher knowledge, higher wisdom, wanting to know more about our world, you will attain this crown chakra, and it will remain wide open for you. And you will connect to divine energies that will then start to illuminate themselves in your own life. And they will start showing you the way, because you, the greatest aspect of yourself, is actually ascended up in the stars of heaven. This is only a tiny aspect to experience this physical realm that we've created. It is an amazing journey into truth when you go down all of these paths of knowledge. But the dark ones have kept us right here, embedded in fear and in our sexuality and things of this nature. Think about this. Think about Valentine's Day. What color do they represent for Valentine's Day? It's more sexual than it is the heart. The heart is green. Love is green. Nature is green for a reason. It is the love. It's the foundation of everything. Salvation. The key to our salvation lies in the awareness to awaken to all the levels of atrocities perpetuated by the dark forces, and to return to the heart, the Christ consciousness, and the resurrection that everyone is speaking of. There will be no superhero that shows up to save us. It is us who has to save ourselves from this darkness that is pervading over everything and is everywhere. Your awakening is the key, as is your willingness to share what you learn with others. So that means tonight, after tonight, share everything that you've learned. Share it freely, openly. Don't stop sharing. Just keep going with all of your knowledge, all of your wisdom, everything that you find, so that we can get there faster. So you want to spread this light of knowledge so that it becomes a burning flame to cast out the darkness that's everywhere. That's what we are doing by assembling like this tonight. Only through knowledge can we obtain the wisdom to rise towards the light. Your willingness to participate in this class is evidence that people are ready to receive the initiation into the spiritual truths, which is also known as magic. It is not and never has been magic. It's the foundations of the natural aspects of our existence that were removed from the collective awareness thousands of years ago, after the golden age of enlightenment. This was the key they took from us thousands of years ago during the Inquisition and the march around the world to stomp it out and replace it with beliefs based on indoctrination. The number one tool for fighting this dark energy is the might of the will, or your mind coupled with your emotions. Your will is everything in this existence. It is your innate power. And with this knowledge, minus any fear, you become a force to be reckoned with in the spirit realm and in this physical realm. When the fear inside you is gone, you become an unstoppable force to all forms of darkness. This is the secret key to unlocking mysteries that have been held back from moving forwards into the unknown, sorry, held us back. Fear stops creation and keeps people from investigating the things that they fear. Mysteries remain scary, mysterious, and dark until they become knowledge. We are all chemists or alchemists. Kim was the name of Egypt, and during the days of Tehuti or Thoth, some part of us was also there because our DNA is ancient. We are the result of thousands of years of reincarnation through bloodlines that trace back throughout time. Here's Manly P. Hall. He is a Freemason, I believe, and he was also a person who was truly trying to just impart wisdom on people. He has many books, and he also has many lectures that you can find on YouTube. But Kim was the ancient name for the land of Egypt, and both the words alchemy and chemistry are perpetual reminder of the priority of Egypt's scientific knowledge. It was also the knowledge of spirit, and science and spirituality belong in one unit and one teaching. This is part of the division that we've been experiencing in the world. If you have a foundational belief that there is something outside yourself that is more powerful than you are, then that belief weakens your willpower, and you can be overcome by these other energies. That includes entities. The shadow beings and dark entities will attach themselves much easier to those who have less willpower. And what are they doing with the pharmaceuticals, with drugs, sorcery, and alcohol? They are lowering people's consciousness and states of being and their will. And they are then allowing these principalities of darkness to attach to their physical bodies and to their souls. You may also unknowingly attract negative energy as a way to try and help you come into your power, instead of creating the power within yourself. This method leaves you open to psychic attacks and entity attachments. If you're being overpowered energetically, then there must be an energetic weakness present that is causing the attachment. The shifting of belief becomes very important in order to remedy any energetic weakness. The stronger you become in your own energy, the less likely you will have outside energies affecting you. This is easily done through the belief that you are a powerful being. Your willpower is stored in the sacral chakra of the solar plexus. Here's a mantra for you for conquering darkness. It's a reminder that you are very powerful. I am a very powerful energy. I am a force to be reckoned with. And when you bring this into your being as a feeling, that becomes truth. If you wish to know the 7 rays of light in the color spectrum, have a look at any chakra chart. The colors in this chart indicate their place in the frequency spectrum, beginning with the red at the lowest point and purple or violet at the top. Knowing this chart, you will know where you are in the spectrum of your willpower or in your awareness. In order for darkness to have power over you, they have to pull you down to their level, which is below the heart chakra. And as you can see here, the very bottom is survival and is blocked by fear. They have been keeping people in their root chakras by this survival mode that is incorporated out here in the world by having to go to work for $1. That is basically the equivalent of your life or your time in your own life. Is the dollar worth it? I said no in 2020 myself. I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And I never went back to Hollywood. So this is something that each one of us has to find, is to lose the fear of losing the material world that we've created around us, and to know absolutely that we are divine beings and that we came here for a greater purpose. So you can inspect this chart and know yourself, know these aspects. Become very, very honest with yourself is the only way to ascend to these higher planes, all the way up to the crown chakra, which will then open up. Once you remove all of these blocks, you will open up and begin working in balance with the 7 rays within yourself. and you will start to know things. Things will start to come to you. You will also be able to channel your own information by the divine forces, which is the actual higher aspect of yourself that is waiting for you to just discover it. But we have been cut off from all of this due to being forced down here as children into the indoctrination camps, the repeat after me cycle, the survival mode cycle, the sexual implications of the world, you know, all of the atrocities, everything they have done has been fear-based for a reason. It means that they can control us more easily. Okay. From my experience with hypnosis clients, entities will attach to this one. They attach either here or here, mostly to the navel area, because we come into the world through the navel or umbilical cord. That is our cord to the, I guess you could call it a stargate of the mother. The womb of the mother is a stargate that then allows for these celestial beings to take on a physical form. And when children are stillborn, it does not mean that they died necessarily in the womb. It could also mean that the soul did not make it, they did not make the journey down to the body at that time. And there have been hypnosis cases where the people who go under will describe how they were afraid to go down to the earth plane to then have their physical experience, which is basically a school for the soul. And so they saw the mother experience a stillborn death, and they felt bad about that. So they then came in as the next child that that person had. Very fascinating information can be found through hypnosis. Your imagination is everything. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a ball of white light. You can fill your sphere of light with any positive affirmation to protect yourself from any negative energy. The clearer your visualization, the more powerful your protection will be. This is another aspect of the world that is very challenging for most people because of all of the distractions. They've gotten our mind to just be erratic in its focus. And through the meditations and doing meditation as a practice, even up to several times a day, can help you gain the clarity that you may desire to gain this protective sphere. It can only help you. You can expand the white light outwards to surround your house, your neighborhood, your city, or even the world. The more people meditate on ideas such as this, the more powerful the magic becomes, because we are all one. Your brain is like a muscle and creates new passages, the neural passageways, as new thoughts are formed. I did take psychology in college, and I was taking physiological psychology. And this was one of the things that I learned, was that neurons can be replaced by new passages as long as the thoughts are then changed. The imaginary sphere can become any color, but keep in mind the color you choose determines the frequency and excess of lower astral or upper astral energy, with red being the lowest and purple being the highest, but the white light encompasses all of them, therefore becoming the most powerful force. We are more powerful than the dark ones because combining forces of people with like mind is like creating a grid of divine energy that is in opposition to the dark forces. And we are many while they are few. Together we are mighty. Even just our thoughts together makes us mighty, because thoughts create our reality. Now, this is something for you to think about. Where do your thoughts go throughout your day? Do you have dark thoughts, or do you think about good things and good, like great ideas in the future? People are meditating today more than ever. And the moment you enter meditation, you leave archons behind. The archons are the hidden controllers of our world. And this renders them powerless over you because you just brought your consciousness up to the third eye chakra. You become connected to the one mind, unifying you to the collective consciousness, therefore illuminating your crown. A crown is a symbol for mastery of illuminating the mind, and also represents the jewels, chakras, and knowledge. We've often heard the phrase gems of knowledge or truth. Well, they're talking about gems of knowledge. And they were actually, these crowns represents the rulers during the end of Aries and entering the age of Pisces, because they are now ruling over the lower states of consciousness with this red. The Queen Mother, who just was announced dead, even though she died a year ago, they wore these red crowns because they knew they could rule over the root chakras of people. But in the past, they actually had purple crowns and crowns of simply just gold, like this other one here. Kings wore purple because it was symbolic of enlightenment, the highest nature of awareness. After their initiation into Hermetics and mastery of such wisdom is when they became kings. All the world was a school into what we know as the mystical arts. They were the mystery schools. And these people were like the professors. And they would basically impart their wisdom that they had gained down to different initiates. And so began the pyramid of knowledge. And the top of the pyramid was the illuminated ones with the eye open, or third eye open. And you've seen this in the Illuminati symbolism. Black robe judges wear are symbolic of Saturn's energy, and also is symbolic to whom their allegiances lie, which is the darkness. Most of them may not even know this, but they are part of Freemasonry. The wearing of robes is symbolic of a magi or magician, and sometimes initiates, such as graduates. They have been initiated into the Saturnian school of knowledge without their full awareness. The cube that is worn on the head of any graduate is a basically an honor to Saturn's cube energy. These are actually judges. They dress up as Santa Claus in a way. That's a whole nother story. And then we have the disciples of the Christ, you know, also the choir. They wear robes. So we've seen these types of things in our society. They all symbolize an initiation into magical arts, but most people don't have the eyes to see this. Becoming more aware of this connection and the power it holds is essential to our ascension beyond the grasp of dark influences. Creating peace and unity in your life is imperative in order to function at higher levels of consciousness. Anything that lowers your emotional states will bring you back down to the level of potential archon influence. That means if you get angry, jealous, or maniacal over things, if you have bouts with different emotional discharges, you cannot being able to control emotional outbursts of any kind, can also be a symbol of dark influence. Knowing these foundational truths will help guide you to make better decisions, more reflection and less reaction. This is a very good mantra to adopt, to do introspection on. Mind plus emotions equals manifestation. Your thoughts are creating imagery and waveforms all day, every day. It is interacting with the tetragrammaton, or the etheric energy, with each thought, which means it's helping co-create your reality and your experiences through the frequency you tune into at any given moment. Remember, your body is just like a radio device. It is sending and receiving signals all day, every day, even when you sleep. All of this information is laying a foundation of comprehension of how powerful you truly are, and that all you have to do is squelch the darkness and turn on your light. Love is the light to illuminate all dark things. The joy of laughter is a catalyst to ignite a flaming fire of light all around you at any time. Have you ever noticed that? When someone just starts laughing, like uncontrollably laughing in a room, everyone turns to look and they start smiling. Some people look confused, but then eventually, if the person is laughing long enough, people will start laughing too. It's an amazing and very, very potent way of squelching darkness in anyone at any time. This is part of what they took from us as children. Look at how children laugh and play and pretend through their imaginations. This is the spark of light we came in with, which is why they extinguish it out of us at a very early age through their indoctrination camps they call schools. They begin teaching us conformity and to follow the rules and to be judged through a grading system that was made to break us down and make us feel unworthy. They stole our pure essence from us and broke our spirit. They spat out multiples of indoctrinated citizens like a machine for their purpose of mass mind control. We lost our most valuable power, our imaginative joy of creation. What if you could regain that spark you came into this world with? What if that child were to return to its full potential of creative spirit? That child still remains inside each one of you and is merely waiting to be reborn and rediscovered. That inner child is the keeper of all knowledge and all secrets of the universe. You were just never told. How do you rediscover this child? Through playing. By dropping all the walls, masks, and mental baggage you've obtained from becoming an adult and returning to that childlike person of playing with the world with spontaneity, curiosity, and creativity. This is the magic that you can regain, and it's all through your will. By losing the fear of scrutiny or judgment from others for your actions of becoming more childlike in nature, and by choosing more joy and laughter above all else, returning to the things that you loved as a child, playing games, wearing costumes, coloring, riding bikes, whatever you did so long ago that you may have left behind but still longingly reminisce about. If you didn't have a good childhood, then it's long overdue and it's time to try and have one now. Seek out those things which make you feel overjoyed. If you have no ideas, then find someone else's and try them out. Returning to the childlike mind will make amazing things happen before your very eyes. I have personally experienced this. I have gone through dark night of the soul so many times I cannot express, but it was only to go through those challenges to awaken to the spirit that I now have and the compassion that I have for the world. This is the stuff that dreams are made of, and the universe responds instantly to your joy. Synchronicities will happen right before your very eyes, and it will create amazing magical wonders you never thought possible. I have witnessed this and experienced this myself. These are the secrets to the universe. You are each the keys to unlock the doors of possibility.